Welcome to Nuke's Fitness Podcast. My name is Manouk Vink, and after having struggled with my body image and my fitness journey for more than 10 years, leading me to all sorts of extremes, I have now finally cracked the code on how you can achieve a fit and toned physique without extremes and restrictions. Now, being a certified nutritionist and personal trainer, I have made it my mission to help women achieve their body goals by feeling empowered through fitness instead of being afraid of foods and being controlled by the fitness industry. In this podcast, I will be sharing with you tried and true methods on how you can finally achieve your dream body and tell you the secrets most coaches won't. So if you are tired of working your ass off without getting results, or you feel like you're putting in all the work but not seeing change in the mirror, this podcast is for you. I will be dropping some fitness truth bombs so you can start taking control of your body goals while still enjoying life. Thank you so much for listening and enjoy the show. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Nuke's Fitness Podcast. I am not going to lie, I've been a little bit lax with my podcast, but that's okay. I needed some new inspiration, and now I've got some new inspiration because we've got a lovely guest on the podcast today. Today, I will be introducing to you Trix. Trix, I know from a while back in Amsterdam, we met. Somewhere on our entrepreneurial fitness journey, we met each other. And if you've listened to a previous podcast, her partner was on the podcast as well, Kevin. So to get a little bit of a backstory of who she's with and what she does, you can also listen to the podcast with Kevin and get an even bigger picture of who Trix is. But today we're going to be interviewing Trix, and Trix is a holistic coach who works with energetics. And I'm going to let her take the floor. So Trix, why don't you introduce yourself and explain to everybody what you do?
Yeah, hi. Thank you for inviting me to the podcast. I'm very excited about it. I love talking on podcast and maybe inspire people to change their perspective on some topics. So really thank you for this opportunity.
Of course.
As you said, I work as a holistic coach, and what this means is that you help people on different levels. So when you go to a physiotherapist, they help you on the physical level, and when you go to, let's say, someone like a coach, like a mental coach, they help you on like a mental level. But as a holistic coach, you combine all the levels a person has. So physical body, actually, mental, emotional body as well, and also energetic. So you combine everything and you see a person as a whole, instead of that you work with these different levels and different perspectives. You try to combine it all because it's all connected to each other.
So before we dive into sort of like your backstory and how you got here, when you say you coach people on a holistic level, it's obviously different than me coaching someone on a holistic level in fitness. Because I'm coaching them with nutrition, fitness, their body image, you name it, all of that kind of stuff. So what are give an example of what someone could come to you with when it comes to coaching? Like what would someone come to you with?
That's a really good question, and it's a question I can't really answer in like one sentence. It can be there can be a variety of like problems or things someone struggles with. So it can be like physical problems like back pain. So you probably also have clients with back pain, but I'm gonna search a little deeper. Why does this person have back pain, and why does it keep coming back?
The root cause of it.
The root cause, yes, exactly. So of course, when you have problems in your back, you might help people strengthen their core and do things like that. But when I help them, I try to go a little deeper to the root cause, and most of the time this has like an emotional and also energetic root.
Yes.
So physical problems, but also like mental problems, people with burnout, depression, people who have suffered physical or sexual abuse, but also people who would like to explore more about like the spiritual world and the energetic world. So it's a really wide field of people who can come to me, actually.
I love that so much. And I love that because I've always been very spiritual
Mhm.
in that I've always been diving deeper into like energetic spirituality, all of this stuff. And I actually implement some of that in my coaching now as well.
That's really
So I really, really love that because what you're saying, for example, the lower back pain, we sometimes think that, you know, as long as we just strengthen our core and we work on that, it will go away. But if the root cause is not addressed, then it won't go away no matter what you try,
exactly.
or it will pop up in a different part of your body.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
yes. So I really, really love that you do that. And that's why I also like love inviting, you know, guests on the podcast that talk about spirituality because I'm totally about the inside out. Like you can try to fix the outside, but if you're not tackling the inside, then you're not going to get the results that you want, or you're not going to actually solve the root cause, like you said.
Yeah.
So I love that so much, Trix. So like what got you here? Because when we met, we were both into fitness. I still am. I think you are too, but your business is more holistic based, whereas mine is still very fitness based.
True.
And I love to have people on this podcast, and I had a body image coach on the podcast as well, because we all have some sort of story. Well,
Yeah.
most women, men do too, but most women have some sort of story when it comes to their body and insecurities and why that is, and some sort of journey with accepting their body as is.
Yes.
Yes. So, and I love to hear everybody's stories because it shows you that you're not alone
Hmm.
on this journey and there is light at the end of the tunnel and you will be happy with your body if you work on it in the right way.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Exactly.
So, Trix, I'd love to hear your story and how you ended up working with energetics
Hmm.
instead of staying in the fitness business and what your journey was like.
Well, it was quite a journey, and actually, it's still a journey because I really believe even if you are a coach, you should never stop learning. Now, I still see like every day as a part of that journey, although I coach people now and I help people with quite like big problems, for lack of better words. I still truly believe that as a person, whether you're a coach or you're doing something completely different, you should always be open to learn more and explore more about yourself, because there are
100%.
always parts that were hidden and like blind spots. So even as a coach, you should always keep your eyes open and
Developing.
yeah, keep
Yeah.
developing. So because when you develop, you can also help more people and with other things. And I also really believe that every time I help someone else in my coaching business, I still help myself in a way,
Oh, 100%.
because we're all connected, right?
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
all part of one consciousness. So
Yeah.
that's a really interesting topic as well. But my journey, yeah, I started with my journey because I was really insecure.
Yeah.
And my parents divorced when I was 13. So there was
Mhm.
a really weird age to have something like that in
Unstable.
your life.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just a divorce, there was a lot of drama. Let's keep it to that.
Yes.
And it affected it affected me so much, because the relationship with my dad was shit.
Yeah. You can
And
start. It's
yeah,
fine.
it was a shit at that time, and I'm really happy that we healed the relationship. But at that time, yeah, we didn't really have a relationship at all. And you can imagine that if the connection with your father or your mom or someone who has to take care of you is broken, or is broken. Let's say it like that.
I can identify with that for sure.
Yeah, it really affects you on very different levels, and it really affected the way I looked at myself. And not only that, the whole situation with my dad and his new girlfriend, and it
Mm,
really made me like turn off my spark, my light. And yeah, then a lot of things, like a cascade of things happened, and I felt really insecure. I felt not happy. I had a lot of really weird symptoms in my body as well. Um, and I just tried to run away, and I tried to fix it with all these external things. So I was like, okay, if I look a certain way, or I have this amount of friends, or I accomplish this and this, then I will feel better. But of course, that's just,
the outside.
yeah, it's the
Yeah.
outside, and you can't keep filling yourself like that,
No.
because then, yeah, you will just
If you
end
don't
up
tackle the
suffering.
inside issue, it will just keep coming up in different areas of your life.
Yeah.
So when it comes to your like fitness journey, like do you feel like it started when you were 13 that you started like nitpicking at your body or wanting to change things about your appearance? Or was it earlier than that, do you feel?
I feel it was earlier than that it really started. I
Yeah.
remember being on, is it called elementary school?
Yeah, elementary school. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I was really young. Maybe I was like in yeah, in Holland, like in sixth or seventh grade. I don't know how you translate it to
I
English,
don't
but
think. I think that's already middle school for
okay. Well,
maybe I'm wrong.
let's say I was like 11 years old. So that's
Yeah.
really young. And I remember comparing my body to my friends' bodies.
Yeah.
And I had quite some really skinny friends. And I was skinny myself as well. But I had like a little bit of hips. But if I look back on the pictures, yeah, you see some curve, but it's still really like a child's
Yeah.
body, you know? But I was already aware
Everything.
of everything. And
Yeah.
I remember also being at a store with my mom and a friend and her mom. And I remember crying when I was in the changing room because I felt fat.
Yeah. I know that feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was earlier on, but yeah, it kept on getting worse, I guess.
Yeah, I totally can identify with that. I remember the same type of scenario trying on jeans. I
Mm,
was always the taller girl, the tallest girl
me too.
in the group, and always like I literally spoke to someone I went to middle school with the other day, so funny, and quickly like exchanged a message about, oh yeah, it's so beautiful that you're like making your insecurity your empowerment. Like that was the discussion.
Hmm.
Because I said her voice, she's doing poetry. I said her voice sounds so nice. She's like, I'm actually so insecure about how deep it sounds. And I'm
Mm,
like, it's so beautiful that you can make the thing that you're so insecure about your strength. So my legs have always been my biggest insecurity. So I've always felt larger and bigger than everybody else. And even she was like, yeah, you were one of the first girls to develop in middle school. So you feel so out of place in that phase, right? And that's when really things start like hitting. For me, especially like from 9, I was like still a little girl, like
yeah.
9 years old, skinny little girl.
Hmm.
And then 10 hit, and I suddenly like gained a bunch of weight, and
Hmm.
my hormones started working. And then, everything starts changing.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I don't know how to, find like my place anymore, like what I'm supposed to look like. You get these body ideals everywhere. And then, that's when it sort of starts hitting. And then you get those messages from everywhere,
Yeah.
like your parents, the outside world, they're starting to tell you like that you're not good enough, right? Or you start telling yourself that. It's not that
Yeah.
they're telling you, but you take that on as your own.
Yeah, you take it
Yeah.
on as your own, and you feel a certain way in situations, but because you are in this emotion, you can't observe what is really happening because you see it through your own filter and through your own belief systems.
Yes, 100%. And right when this is happening, everybody around you could have their own situations that they're dealing with, and
Yep.
you don't even know it because you're going through your own stuff. So maybe those skinny girls that you went to school with had
Hmm.
their own emotional body struggles, and you think that they're having their perfect, bodies and not struggling with anything, when in fact that's not the case.
True.
So this is when it starts snowballing. So it's crazy because I think so many women can identify with a similar story like this.
Hmm.
And I'd love to hear from you, Trix. So what happened then? So then you ended up going into fitness, and yeah, take me through that. So 13, what age did you sort of start getting into fitness, and what drove you there, and what was your journey there?
Yeah, I think because I played hockey until I was 18, I think, or 17. But in the meantime, I think I was like 14 or 15 when I sometimes went to the gym with a friend or with someone. So then it started. But as I got older, I think when I was 16, I was like hitting the gym, you know?
Going for it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then I think I just went into this rabbit hole of like the fitness industry and seeing all those fitness girls on Instagram with like the big booties and
Was
like
Instagram already a thing when you were a
I
teenager?
yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah. So yeah, that really affected me, but I don't really think I saw how unhealthy my relationship with the gym was actually. So I thought I did it because I loved it, but when I look back or when I looked back, it wasn't really the case. And sometimes I really didn't like to go, but I pushed myself to go. And I remember there was a time when I was in high school where I would just have like a whole day of school, and then after school went straight to the gym, pushed really hard, and then I came back and yeah, I ate, but there was a point where I just started like, maybe I shouldn't eat that
Yeah.
much more, and then it started with like 100 calories less or like a snack less, and it just went downhill from there. So
Yeah.
I really like my mom in every morning she made like this really tiny glass of fresh juice, and I even didn't want to drink that anymore because
Yeah.
it wasn't even like a big glass of orange juice. It was like a really tiny, just for like the taste, and I didn't even want to drink that anymore. And then I really started to feel fatigue, so I went to the gym after high school, and then I came back home and I had to sleep
Yeah.
because I was so tired because I wasn't eating and I was like putting so much pressure on myself.
Yeah.
And then I started binge eating.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, how did that sort of exist? Because I've never had the binge eating um phase. This, what you're saying about the juice, is very recognizable.
Mm.
Like where even the smallest thing, I would be terrified of eating it because I was like, my progress is going to just, which, when you start understanding how nutrition and training works, you're like, what? How did I think that
Yeah.
that was going to ruin all of my progress? Like, it's really illogical. But at the time, it's just this fear based thing. Like, you think that that one sip of juice is
Mm.
going to change all your progress. You
Yeah.
think skipping that one session in the gym is going to ruin all your progress. You
Yeah.
you think that like the smallest thing is going to create a disaster.
Yeah.
When
Yeah. It's really when I look back to it and I like put my holistic coach
yes,
glasses on, I also really see like this pattern of controlling everything because there were so much things happening outside of my control with like the divorce of my parents and the new girlfriend moving in, and there were so many things happening that I couldn't control and I was like a victim of,
yeah,
that I was like, okay, if I can't control that, I must control all the things I can control. So, and nutrition and fitness
it's one of those
was
things.
one of it. Yeah.
I love that you say this, Trix, because I don't know. I posted a podcast about this. I posted about it in my story a little bit. I struggled with OCD when I was,
Mm,
and that first started with hand washing obsessively, then went into a nighttime routine that I had to do obsessively. Then I thought I was cured,
mm,
after that phase, like 14, 15. But like you said, because I couldn't control the external for me,
yeah.
I was moving around a lot as a young girl, and I
Hmm.
was very perceptive to energies and things going on. And so my way of like controlling things was the OCD.
Hmm.
And then I thought like I had cured it with my sleeping routine. But my mom also later told me, like, no, it's just moved into your nutrition and your training.
Yeah.
And that is something that is like people don't understand. Like when it comes to OCD, it's not just like this one thing, it's really like this obsessive behavior to try and grasp control.
Yeah.
So I spoke about it on the podcast as well because I was like, this is such an interesting topic for people that may not even realize they're doing this. Because, like you said, and I love that you bring that up, it's a form of controlling your outside world,
Yeah.
and it becomes this obsessive, because I'm sure it was obsessive for you too.
Really?
As soon as it's obsessive, like in that way, it's no longer healthy.
No.
So, and it's like this fear of if you do anything outside of, and that's how OCD works. That's exactly how it works. If you do anything outside of what you're meant to be doing, then
Mm,
a disaster will happen.
yeah.
So, yeah, so I think it's very interesting that you touched on that topic because I feel more people need to see how when it becomes like this control factor,
Hmm.
then it's something most of the time anyways, but that's a good telltale that this is not a healthy way that you're dealing with your fitness and your nutrition.
For sure. And I think like with controlling things, this can like for example be in like an OCD type of way in fitness, in nutrition, but it can also be in controlling like your relationships or your work, or there are all these different
Outside.
outside external things you can try to control. And if you then go to the root of that, most of the time it's because something inside of you, and most of the time it's like your inner child
Hmm.
that has felt unsafe, and that part is never healed. So even if you are a grown up and you are in a safe environment and everything goes well, that part of you, that inner child inside of you, still feels unsafe. And that's why you try to control out all these things outside of you to keep to give you like this false feeling of being safe.
Yeah, and safe because you know what's going on
Yeah.
outside.
Yeah.
So I want to go back to the binge eating thing, but I also want to ask you, um, when that happens, with that inner child feels unsafe, how would you treat that?
Uh,
What would you give, like what tips would you give someone who's listening to this and it's like, this sounds familiar to me? Like what can they do and what do you do that, they need your help for?
yeah.
But give me both options.
Let's start with things I would do as like a holistic coach, because in s- some cases it can be a really good thing to go to a coach, because a coach um, can see your blind spots and can really help you get to places inside of yourself where you don't want to go, because that feels unsafe as well, you know.
Yes.
So really be open to get guidance, to get help. um, and what I would do as a holistic coach is I do a lot of like, I call it body work, but
Hmm.
it's using your body and doing different exercises for emotional release.
Hmm.
So a lot of times when a child felt unsafe, and this can be conscious or unconscious. So it can be like one moment when you were a child you don't even remember, right?
Yeah.
You suppress emotions, and when you suppress emotions, they get stuck in your body, and this affects like your physical, mental, emotional, energetical
All of it.
well-being.
Yes, 100%.
So I use these exercises to really get rid of these emotions that keep you like trapped.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you release these emotions, it's like an emotional release, but also a physical release. Then your body feels,
Yes.
I'm safe now. And then you can really descend back to your
Core.
core,
Yeah.
to your heart, to your belly, to this safe haven, instead of like this monkey mind that keeps on like telling you, oh, you should do this, you should that, you should control that, I'm afraid of that. No, you can just.
Ooh.
So I use these exercises, and they're really, really, really powerful.
Mhm.
Um, and I also do like energetical healings to also get
Yeah,
rid of these
of course.
blockages.
Yeah.
But I really love doing the bodywork exercises because it's really combining like all these things trapped in your body with the emotional release that really gives you this feeling of like, I can breathe again.
Yeah.
I can really connect with my body, and this is the safe haven. So if you
Yeah.
can connect to your body, you can feel safe again. You can feel your heartbeat. You can breathe again, and that's
Yeah.
so important. But you can also do things yourself, so you don't always need a coach. And you can do like holistic exercises as well, but it's not that big of an emotional release, because sometimes you need
Someone to push you there,
there.
guide you there, because you're gonna avoid that area.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly. But
Yeah.
if you feel like you're feeling uncomfortable, you're feeling in your head, you can really easily just do an exercise where you like really shake things
Get back
off.
in your body. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
really shake your body, but also feel your body. You can even like try to guide yourself back here
Yeah. To your
with your
body.
hands. So really
For
go
those
like,
who are just listening, Trix is like touching her body, like stroking her body.
yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
podcast. Yeah, no, it's fine. People will watch it, but like if you're not, you're just like,
Yeah,
yeah, I
just
know that. Like
touch your
bodies. Yeah,
touch your
rest your own body.
yeah.
So it's interesting that you say this because I've been diving. I mean, I've always been a geek on this stuff. Like I
Mhm.
really dive into it when something triggers my brain in this way, and I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. I dive into it. So I've been developing my intuition over the past months, and I'm
Mhm.
going to be incorporating that in my coaching as well
That's
to
amazing.
intuitively test like what someone needs, like when it comes to training and nutrition. And hopefully, I also want to combine that with energetics eventually. So why there's a disbalance somewhere.
Mhm.
So, like I'll give a fitness example, and then I'm going to give you another example of real life, and then you can also like tell me about that. So, like for example, if you're training your glutes and you're working very hard, but the one glute is developing and the other side is not, so your right and your left side, it could have something to do with a disbalance in your masculine and your feminine energy
Right.
in one area of your life.
Mhm.
So, like you say, if you don't tackle, like you might have your fitness goals, of course, that's great, right? That's fine.
Mhm.
You're allowed to have your fitness goals. You're
Yeah.
allowed to be stronger because that's very good to be stronger and to be fitter,
Yeah.
but it can also show you maybe where something is out of balance. So why is that not developing? Why are you struggling so much? Even like with carrying extra body weight, it could be your body protecting itself from
Yes.
the outside. So again, you could be working your ass off, literally doing everything that you need to do, and then your body's not going to respond, which, and it might in a little way if you push it far enough, but it's not going to really go willingly and it's not going to respond very well, which I experienced myself, where after my competition, you can feel it that your energy is blocked and it's not working. Like you
Mhm.
can feel it. I was working my ass off literally 2 hours in the gym, cutting my calories, and I was not losing weight for the life of me. Nothing was, I was actually getting larger. And
Mhm.
that's because I was beating my body up so much instead of giving it space and room to breathe and loving it for what it was.
Yeah.
So it was literally like trying to protect itself, like, hey, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So, like you're saying, the body is a roadmap, and it is actually like, I actually heard this example, which I think you can resonate with as well.
Mhm.
Is like, it's like a car. When you're driving a car and
Mhm.
a light starts blinking, means something's wrong.
Yep.
Doesn't mean keep going. It
Do
means
not ignore it. No.
so, and we seem to love to ignore our body. So even like throat pain could be connected to anger, is what I've heard.
Mhm.
And obviously, every person has their own like energetics on that.
Yeah.
So if you keep holding onto emotions and anger and you don't let it out, like Trix is saying, that is going to keep developing and it's just going to get worse. And you can keep treating the symptoms, but like you said, if you don't treat the root cause,
Yeah.
it's just going to get worse. And it can even develop into serious illnesses. Am I right?
It can develop like really serious illnesses. And how I see it is first your body starts whispering
Yeah. I
and
love
you
that.
get like these small, subtle, like attention things like, hello, here I am. And if you don't listen, your body starts talking. If you don't listen to your body talking to you, it starts shouting. And if you even don't listen to the shouting, it punches you right in the face. And then there's not like, well, there's always a way back, but then like it developed to a stage you don't
No.
want to go.
Yeah. Like
And that's
even,
what happened with me as well, because I pushed myself on all levels, like in school, in study, work, with like also the business we did a couple
yes.
of years before. I pushed myself so hard with friends. I expected to be always be there for everyone, and I had such high expectations of myself. It was just not human what I wanted me to do, and I always felt like I was in a rush, and my body just started to stop, and my body was like giving me all these super weird symptoms that you would think like, how can you be like 20 and have all these symptoms like
Would you care to give an example? If you
um yeah, I started throwing up randomly, and not throwing up because I wanted to throw up because I felt
no,
fat.
no, no, no.
I was past that stage when I was 20, but
Yeah.
um throwing up, but also feeling very fatigue, lower back pain, and I even started to have like really weird, yeah, it wasn't really pain, but it was a really weird feeling in my legs, like
Restless?
restless legs. And then I also got like pain in my shins, and they first thought it was shin splints,
Oh, yeah.
like a yeah
Yeah,
when
from running, you can get
yeah
that.
run.
Yeah.
But then I even got to the hospital, like a hospital that was like specialized in sports and stuff like that, and um, they tested like the pressure inside of my lower leg when I was like walking and stuff, and the pressure got so high. It's like a condition, I don't even remember the name of it, but the pressure got so high that I couldn't walk anymore. And I even had like an operation, like a surgery
That's
for it,
the operation is right. Yeah.
um, because it got so bad. But now when I look back to it, it wasn't really cured after the surgery. It cured after I stopped like running all the time.
Yeah. And it's always linked to something like that, right? It's like literally, it's so like, it's kind of obvious things like running away from something or restlessness, or like if you think of the body fat going up and holding on to body weight, so the protection layer, it's like think of what it could be like. For example, if you have like your feet hurt, it's maybe because you feel like you're stuck, like I don't know, I'm just saying, but to think
Yeah,
of like the links of where it could come from.
yeah,
And yeah, it's really, really crazy to me that some people still can't see how those two are linked with one another.
yeah.
Um,
And there's even like a lot of scientific
Yes.
research done to the connection between mind and body. But when you look at the regular how do you say it?
Mainstream media, I guess, mainstream
Yeah,
knowledge.
health and mainstream like health
Yeah,
prevention and stuff. They just don't use it. They just keep
but they
seeing
have
it
no,
suffering.
like, it's shocking to me, honestly,
Mhm.
how little GPs and doctors
Yeah,
know about the body,
yeah.
and also about, like, even on like a base level, like not spiritual or energetic, but just on a level of what you should be eating.
Mhm.
What you should be doing to exercise. Like, it's really shocking how little they know. And especially, I don't know, like, in the Netherlands for sure, it's very like, how do you call it?
Yes.
Symptom based treatment. So you treat the symptom, but you don't treat the root cause. And that's literally how most of us live our lives as well. I'm sure Trix experiences that with clients that come to her. You think
Yeah.
you're going to treat the symptom. So I have a headache, so I should just drink more water. But this headache keeps coming back. Well, maybe you should take a paracetamol to take the headache away. No,
Mhm.
maybe it's coming from somewhere else. So figure out where that something else is coming from, like what that is, and treat that, because otherwise it's never going to go away.
Yeah,
And
it's
then
really trying to tell you something, to change something, to learn something, to heal something. And
100%.
it's not that like general healthcare is bad. I
No,
really don't say that because I think we can be very thankful that we have a healthcare
medicine and
system like,
healthcare for sure.
yeah.
100%.
But I really feel like the general healthcare and like the alternative
Yes, yes, yes,
healthcare
yes.
should like
Connect
combine
more.
forces.
100%. Yes. Because I always think of it like this. When I went to a psychologist as well, when I was younger, I went to a psychologist. And I remember immediately, like, there was one psychologist I went to, and the fact that she took out like a book or something and started looking for like what it is that I had and was very like structured, I was immediately like, I'm out. Because you're not listening to me and my situation and reading what's going on with me. You're just looking for the symptoms and trying to figure out
Mm-hmm.
what is going on based off of that, and immediately say, hey, next session we can talk about medication. And I was like, I think I'm going to leave. Like, I'm good. But yeah, and that's how, unfortunately, some of the health, well, not in the Netherlands because we're not very medication focused,
Mhm.
but in a lot of healthcare systems, that's how they deal with a lot of issues.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same when it comes to training and nutrition. I'm going to drive it back there because it's
Mhm.
the same thing. Because when you work with a fitness professional and you work with a coach and you work with an online workout program, a lot of the time they are also treating the symptoms. So they are giving you a workout program and they're giving you a meal plan. Now go and do it. Good luck, right? Are you going to get the results that you want? Yes, maybe for a short period of time
Mhm.
if you stick to that. But then what's going to happen after a while? You're either going to get a very unhealthy relationship with training and nutrition,
Yeah.
or you're going to fall back into your old pattern.
Yes. And you're going to be like really fixated on a plan someone else provides for you. And of course, sometimes a plan can be a good thing to get
So,
to know like the basics and learn more about, oh, what is a protein? What is a carb? How do
yes,
I like make a good balanced meal? Of course, then it can be a good thing. But how I look at nutrition and sports as well is that you really, it's like it's so essential that you learn how to connect to your own body and you feel what it is you need at a specific time or at a specific moment, because one day your body might really need more carbs because like the weather, I don't know, and because it's cold and you need more fuel to warm up your body, or just an example. And another day you will crave more protein because you need more protein and amino acids to build up some structures in your body.
Yeah, some muscles and some structures. Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's so important to really connect to your body, and if you want to connect to your body, you have to like heal the blockages that made you not connect to your body, and you really have to get back to the source actually.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And that's so true. It's so funny that you mentioned this because I'm now in a group where we're doing intuitive training together, and one of the girls was ill. She was feeling sick, and she wanted to do a juice cleanse
Mm.
to clean out like her body, she thought. So I intuitively tested for her, and I was like, you need carbs. I was like, you need warm and you need carbs. So she followed that and she immediately felt better.
Yeah.
So it's so interesting how we, with our brain, think we need something, but then when you really tune in, you need something completely different.
Mhm.
So that kind of brings me to another topic, right? Like I am feeling this now, especially back when I started out my fitness journey, especially in my 20s and stuff. All I was doing was trying to work towards a specific physical goal.
Yeah.
That's all I was focused on. I didn't care about anything else, really. Now that I'm getting older, I'm 30. Now that I'm getting older, I am more focused. Yes, I like to look good, of course. I'm not shy to say that. I like to feel and look good. But because I take care of my body from a different place and
Mhm.
from a place of I need to take care of it. I love it. I love the way that it looks. I just want to make sure that I stay fit and healthy. And I do things to improve my health and to keep fit and to challenge myself in fun ways.
Mhm.
I feel like my approach is so different. And I used to feel, when I skipped a workout, like I said, oh my God, what am I going to do? All my progress is down the drain. If I ate a chocolate bar, oh my God, all my progress is down the drain. And if I didn't stick to my meal plan, same thing. Now it's totally different. It's a totally different type of relationship that I have with my body. And I feel like I get better results because of it. And I feel happier because of it. And I feel more comfortable in my body. I'm less bloated. Everything flows so much better. So
Yeah.
I want to hear from you, Trix. Like, you even mentioned binge eating and things like that. Like, how did that come to fruition? And then how did you navigate your way from an obsessive relationship to training and nutrition to where you are now? And what's the difference?
I really love the question. Well, why I started binge eating is because I restricted so much
Yeah.
that I couldn't control myself anymore. But another perspective of binge eating is I felt empty
Yeah.
inside, and
Yeah.
like empty because I didn't love myself, I didn't connect with myself, and I just wanted to fill this empty
Yeah.
hole up. I wanted to fill it up because I just wanted to feel something. I wanted to feel connected. So that was why I did the binge eating, and I stopped doing it because there was a moment, and it wasn't like I immediately stopped, but I can remember there was a moment of like clarity, I think, where my intuition, instead of like my mind
Mm-hmm.
trying to control everything, because, yeah, through like the programs I installed in my subconscious mind, um, all of a sudden I had like this moment of clarity where my intuition said to me like, Trix, this needs to change. And I really heard it. And
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I really need this to change. But then I got back to my head, and it kept on like moving back and forth, but at least like a new process started of me feeling like, yeah, I can't do this to myself any longer, and I don't know how, but I'm gonna try to
Change
change
this.
it. So then I started with like a nutrition coach. So it
Yeah.
was still not really
Health.
going to the
Yeah.
root, but it was a start, you know?
Yeah.
And then yeah, it started to get a little better, and yeah, it just took me like a while, but it started getting better and better, like step by step. And then after I think a couple of years, I started being back at this point where I felt like, I wasn't binge eating anymore, and I wasn't like being super strict on myself, but still I came to this point where I felt like, I'm not truly happy, and I'm not really, I feel there's so much inside of me, but it doesn't come out. Like so
Yeah.
much strength, so much love, so much of everything. And then all of a sudden this holistic coach crossed my path, and I saw him on like LinkedIn. I was never on LinkedIn, but that day I was scrolling through LinkedIn and I saw this holistic coach, and all of a sudden I was on his website without even thinking of it, and I saw this website and these sessions he gave, and I was like, I should do this. And then I had 2 sessions with also like the physical and the emotional release, and I could just feel 10 years of like
Trauma and stuff.
trauma and stuff. I could just feel it lift from my
Oh, dear.
shoulders. Yeah. And I felt so different. And that was the moment I felt like, wow, I also really want to do this with my life, because it can
Yeah.
change people's life like in an instant.
Yeah, I love that. I love that so much. And then you started developing your skills in this and your knowledge in this and all of that.
Yeah.
And so how do you feel your fitness and your health and your your goals in that and how you approach these things has changed now?
Wow, it changed so much, because now I don't really have rules anymore for myself.
Yeah.
And when I look back at these years, everything was a rule. And when I
Yeah.
did this, I had to do this to compensate and blah, 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 blah,
Yeah,
blah.
exactly. Like there was like, yeah, I get you.
It was like a maze of
Yes.
rules for
Yes.
myself. And I really just couldn't comprehend my own rules anymore.
No.
Um, and it really restricted me on all
Love-
sides of life.
Yeah.
And now I don't have rules anymore, and the most important thing for me is connecting to my body, really feeling and dropping down from my head to my heart, because then, how cliche it even sounds, but then you can really
Root.
feel, then you can really oh, sorry. Oh, okay. Yeah, then it can then you can really feel what you need. And then you can feel what you want to eat, then you can feel how you want to train. And like, I also really changed from doing fitness to more Pilates and yoga and walking, and I'm really more kind to my body, because I still do a lot of work with my sessions. It's like really hard work to like give space for people to release their emotions.
Yes,
And
a
really
lot
have
of very taxing for your body and your mind and everything to do that, your energy. So
yeah.
we had a little breakup in between I'm see if I can cut it together nicely, but the
Yes.
internet cut out. So we're back.
We're back.
We've got a few more minutes of the podcast. So
All right.
she was telling about like how she does more movement for her body.
Yeah.
So you do more yoga, you do more walking, you do more
More Pilates as well, because I still really feel that I love strength training.
Yes.
But
Yes.
for me personally, like hitting the gym like five times a week with heavy weights is not what feels good for my body. So that's why I changed it to Pilates, and I feel I do like less heavy, but I feel better. And because I feel better, I personally think I look better as well.
That's what I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
Because, of course, I'm totally pro strength training, but that's because I feel it's good to be strong as well.
Yes.
I also want to try Pilates. I haven't done it yet. So
You really should, because it's really
love
also strength training, but not in like a fitness
in a
type
different way. I'm very excited to try it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think it's so important to work on your body to keep it fit, to keep it healthy, and to take care of it.
Yeah.
So taking care of it is something different than beating it down until it does what you want it to do.
Yes.
So that's a different approach. So what I really try to coach my clients and my members on as well, and what you're saying here, and that's why I'm so interested to hear what you say, is when you tackle the root cause, your body will start looking different because of it. I genuinely believe that.
Yeah, and then you can really work together with your body instead of against your body beating it up, like you say.
Yes, exactly. And when it becomes more collaborative, of course your body's going to be more willing
Mm-hmm.
to respond to what you're asking it to perform for you or to do for you, instead of you telling your body it's not good enough, you don't look good enough, you're not doing what I want you to do. Then
Yeah.
of course your body is going to be like, if you can watch this. Sticking up my middle fingers. Like, no, I'm not. Like, you do it. Like,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
really how it works. And sometimes your body starts changing in the way you always wanted to look.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, sometimes you feel like you start seeing like, wow, what I think I wanted my body to look like is not really what I want my body to look like, because it was just my ego wanting
Mm-hmm.
to look like someone, or in a type of way, because I thought I could fill myself up externally, but all you needed was to go within, give yourself like the emotions you need, like the positive emotions, the safety, the love, the compassion, and then you can even switch your perspective on how you want your body to look.
And that's like also, I love that as well, what you're saying, Trix, because when you become closer to your core self, your wants and your things, they start changing. And also, we get so many thoughts from the outside world of what we think we should look like, and that might not actually be what you want.
Mm-hmm.
I find that a very interesting way of looking at it. And another approach that I like to look at, because I achieved my dream body when I did my bodybuilding.
And it's never enough, right?
It's never enough, first of all. Second of all, what I noticed, you can't hold on to it
Mm-hmm.
because it's not coming from the right place.
Yeah.
So when you're forcing your body to do something or be somewhere, it's going to rebel eventually. And it's going to be like, no, this is not where I want to be. And that's where you get a lot of these girls and guys and people that achieve their fitness goals. And yes, because of lack of knowledge, but also because they're not coming from the right place.
Yes.
They lose their progress very soon after they've achieved the result that they've wanted to achieve.
Yeah.
And that has to do, of course, with the knowledge on nutrition and training and how to maintain it and doing too restrictive, extreme things.
Mm-hmm.
But it also comes from the fact that you're not doing it out of love for your body, but out of hatred for your body.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's really beautiful. So, Trix, let me ask you this. Where can people find you? How can you help them? And I'm going to attach a link to Trix's information inside the show notes. So if you want to reach out to her or follow her, I'm going to attach her Instagram as well.
Yeah.
You will find it there. But tell us a little bit where they can find you, what you do. Do you do one-on-one? Do you do what is your type of coaching? And I think you do retreats as well, right? Things like this.
Sometimes we do retreats and group sessions, but I mostly do 1-on-2 sessions, because I work together with Kevin, as you mentioned previously in the podcast.
Yeah.
Because we combine our strengths. Yeah, we combine powers, and people can find everything we do on the Tree of Light website, and there you can learn more about how we work, what these different types of levels are of your being, actually. So the physical, the mental, the emotional, and energetic way. And you can also read about the different types of sessions we do, and we mostly combine it in like a package. So you have hypno sessions, energetic sessions, and also bodywork sessions. And because you have these different sessions, it all Like it's like the puzzle pieces that then all of a sudden click together, and then you're healed actually. So we combine these sessions, and you can just contact us through the website or through my Instagram, and we always have like a small talk through the phone to discuss your problems and how I feel as like a professional, what I would suggest you to do when you want to do the sessions. But maybe a nice thing to add is that we don't really do a lot of sessions. So the packages we most of the time do with people are somewhere between 3 to 5 or 6 max. So
we get results with that already. Like
yes. So you don't need to do like 12 sessions to get results. The sooner the better, and that's because we integrate these different levels.
Yeah, and I love that because I also love that when coaches do that. Like I'm the same way, where you want to actually, the best coach doesn't want their client to stick with them for too long.
No. Like my mother,
like, yes, the person. We need to fix you like now.
Yeah.
Like if a client's trying to keep you there for long, a member is trying to keep you. Wow, what am I saying?
A coach.
Yeah. Client, a member, a coach is trying to keep you. A lot of the time, that is a sign of it not being a good coach. So I love that you say that, because that's what you want. As a good coach, you want your members and your clients to be able to go on and enjoy their life and do it on their own.
Yeah, that's really also something we find very important. Like we give you the tools and we help you to like break free from these blockages, but then we give you the tools to do it on your own. And of course, you're always welcome to come back, but
of course. And for some insight, like that's how it's meant to be. That's how it's meant to be, because that's when you've got a good coach, when they're giving you the tools and telling you what you need to be doing after they've helped you along the way. So I love that very, very much.
Yeah.
So nice having you, Trix, on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me.
Yes, no, I loved having you here. And I'm excited to share this with my audience. And maybe we can do another session sometime soon.
I'm always open to it.
We can always discuss like more topics on this, because I love this topic so very much. And you guys should listen to this podcast. And if you haven't listened to her partner's podcast, go and listen to that one as well, so you can get like a nice full picture of what these two beautiful people do. And thank you so much for listening to today's episode of Nuke's Fitness Podcast. Hope to see you back here next week. And Trix, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much.
If you enjoyed listening to this podcast and you feel like you got a lot of value out of it, it would mean the world to me if you would rate and review the podcast and share it with someone who you feel like would get a lot of value out of it. In the meantime, come hang out with me on my Instagram @ManoukVink, or join my free challenge, which will be linked in the show notes. It's academy.nukesfitness.com/join-challenge. If you can't remember that name, check the links in the show notes, and I hope to see you there.